The movie kicks off with a homeless dude named Dwight. Whenever Dwight spotted an empty pad, he'd just barge in. Right now, he was shacking up in a random house and getting clean in the bathroom. All of a sudden, he hears the door crack open. He instantly knew the folks who lived there were back, so he didn't waste a second, bounced right out of the window and took off. He just drifts around, trying to survive, you know? After a bit, he sees this beat-up car that's completely empty. Someone had just dumped the ride like it was trash. But Dwight was pumped because now he had a place to crash. He started living right out of that car. In the evening, he'd hit the dumpsters to grab some leftover eats. Then he'd head back to his car, read a few books, and pass out. It seemed like this guy had zero purpose in life. But the truth was, he'd been waiting 20 years for someone to get sprung from jail. Why? Just so he could take him out with his bare hands. The next morning, a cop named Addie rolls up. Addie already knew Dwight. She pulls him out of the car and says, "Look, I don't want you getting yourself into any kind of mess." Then she drops the bombshell. Wade Cleland's about to be released from the pen. Wade was the guy who murdered Dwight's parents 20 years back. Hearing that, the rage flared up inside Dwight. His whole life had boiled down to one mission: kill Wade. Now that he knew Wade was getting out, he started getting ready for payback. He threw a new battery in that old junker so it'd actually run right. Since Wade was getting sprung from a Virginia jail, Dwight had to make the drive there. He checked out a gun shop, but the firearms were way too expensive. He couldn't afford a thing. So, he wrote a letter to his sister and then started smashing car windows in a parking lot, hoping to snag a piece. Sure enough, he found a gun after a while, but it had a trigger lock on it. Dwight kept wrenching at that lock, but he ended up breaking the entire gun trying to get it off. That's when he decided, forget the gun, I'll just use my hands. So he headed to Virginia unarmed. Once he got there, he waited outside the jail, wanting to see when Wade came out and where he went. After a little bit, a limo pulls up to the gate and Wade walks out. Wade's family was thrilled to see him. They all hugged him tight. Watching this, Dwight broke down in tears. The guy who snatched his parents away was now living it up with his own family. As soon as they drove off, Dwight started tailing them. A little later, Wade's family pulled over at a bar to celebrate a bit. Dwight was furious, so he sneaked in through the back and hid out in the bathroom. He was just waiting for Wade to come in alone. As soon as Wade walked in, Dwight burst out and went right for Wade's neck. But Wade survived the hit and started beating on Dwight. But Dwight wouldn't quit. He attacked again, and this time, he slammed a blade right into Wade's forehead. Wade hit the floor, barely gasping for air. His death was a done deal, so Dwight split immediately. Wade's family started getting suspicious. What's taking him so long in the bathroom? They all rushed toward the restroom. Dwight came out and slashed Wade's car tire first before jumping into his own car. He noticed a nasty, deep cut on his hand that was bleeding bad. He must have dropped his car key inside during the scuffle with Wade, so he figures, I'll just take Wade's car and bail. He runs out and slips into Wade's car. Luck was on his side. The key was still in the ignition. He fires it up fast and peels out. A bit later, he sensed someone in the back seat. He slammed on the brakes. A kid, William, pops out of the back. William yells, "Why'd you kill Wade?" Dwight answers, "Wade killed my parents, man. Left me an orphan." The kid freaks out and takes off running. William's reaction made Dwight stop and think. Now he was second-guessing himself, wondering if he killed the wrong person. Did Wade maybe take the fall for someone else? Then he spots an empty house ahead. It looked like nobody'd been there in ages. Dwight went inside to switch up his look. First thing, he chopped off his long hair and beard so no one would recognize him. After a good shower and cleaning up, he looked like a totally sharp guy. He bandaged his hand and put on some new threads. He checked all the news channels on TV, but there was zip on Wade's death. He finally left the house, flagged down a trucker, and hitchhiked. He was going to see his sister Sam. Sam's husband had passed away. She was living alone with her 2 kids. Dwight got to her place a little later. Sam was so happy to see her brother after all that time. They went out to a restaurant for dinner. That's when Dwight just blurted out that he killed Wade, the guy who killed their parents. Sam was pissed, but deep down, she was kind of relieved that the man who orphaned them was dead. Sam told him that Wade's family lived right in their hood. They're loaded, man. They always look down on me whenever they get the chance. They especially flaunt that limo all the time. After they talked, Dwight realized that the Cleland family had some serious power. Now that he killed Wade, they wouldn't just let it go. They would be coming for him soon. Then it hit him. We're both out. Who's watching the kids? They both panicked and flew back home. Sam went in and saw the kids were totally fine, but she was shaken up and came out furious. She smacked Dwight and said, "Everything was cool. You just ruined our family again. I don't even know what to do." Dwight told her, "I'll handle all of it, but for now you gotta get out of here with the kids." He told Sam to pack it up and head to Pittsburgh with the kids. "Don't come back until I sort this whole thing out." Sam knew her kids' safety was number one. She packed their stuff and took off, leaving Dwight behind. Now Dwight had to make sure nobody followed his sister. First, he searched the house. Then he thought, if Wade's family attacks, how am I going to protect myself? But there were no weapons in the house. His sister probably even took the kitchen knife. Dwight made do with the few things he found and got ready to wait. As soon as it got dark, he heard a car pull up. He booked it to the window. He looked out and saw Wade's two brothers, Teddy and Carl. They had come in Dwight's car. Dwight knew they weren't there to hang out. They were there to kill him. He immediately ran upstairs and turned on the bathroom light, and he let the water run. His idea was that if they came in, they'd go straight upstairs, assuming that's where he was, so they wouldn't check downstairs. With the light on, Dwight checked the window again and saw the brothers were coming in from two different spots. One at the front door, the other at the back. Dwight sneaked downstairs and hid beneath the sofa in the living room. The brothers crept into the house and slowly started heading upstairs. Dwight had his chance to bolt. As he stepped out, he saw that Carl had already spotted him. Carl was holding a hunting bow and arrow and kept firing arrows at Dwight. Dwight ran to his car and floored it, but in the chaos, he slammed into Teddy, who crashed to the ground. Dwight jumped out, picked Teddy up and yelled, "Tell me right now, were you coming for me or my sister?" But Teddy was out cold and couldn't say anything. Dwight grabbed Teddy's gun and saw Carl coming at him. Dwight shot, and Carl ducked for cover. Dwight quickly lifted Teddy and started putting him in his car. But just as he was getting into the front seat, Carl shot an arrow right into his leg. Dwight was bleeding bad. He started the car while he was wounded and drove off. Carl was running behind them, yelling, but Dwight didn't stop. He drove way off. Once he was clear, he yanked the unconscious Teddy from the back seat and threw him in the trunk. Dwight was in agonizing pain. He tried to pull the arrow out of his leg, but it was too tough. He drove to a store in that same bad shape, hiding his injury. He got some meds and supplies to try and get the arrow out, but no luck. The blood was pouring out. He was starting to think he was going to die. He finally had to go to the hospital, but before he could even see a doctor, he passed out cold. When he woke up, he was in a bed. He'd been treated and had stitches in his leg. Dwight's leg wasn't all better, but he couldn't stay put at the hospital. He left and got to his car fast. He tapped on the trunk a few times and Teddy started yelling real loud. That meant he was still alive. He quickly changed out of the hospital clothes. Everything was going according to Dwight's plan. Dwight drove straight to his sister Sam's place. First, he locked all the windows and doors so no one could see in from outside. He turned off all the lights, cleaned up the house, and went back to his car. Sitting in the car, he was looking through Sam's old photo album with pictures from when he was a kid. Meanwhile, Teddy was screaming that his leg was busted, and he was super thirsty. Dwight ignored him. He was lost in the album, remembering his happy childhood. That's when he saw a picture of his old friend, Ben. Dwight decided he needed to go see Ben. He drove to Ben's house but only found his mom. Ben's mom said that Ben left about a year ago, but she recognized Dwight because he was her son's best buddy growing up. She gave Dwight Ben's card and said he was living in the city now, giving him the address. Dwight drove for a few hours and hit the address. He found a girl who said Ben was still at work. He's on a late shift, so he won't be free till late tonight. Dwight went back outside, saw Ben's car, and waited. Around midnight, Ben came out, and they caught up on old times. Then Dwight said, "Look, I'm running out of time. I came here for a favor. I need a gun." Ben knew this was serious. He told Dwight, "Come on inside." Once they were inside, Ben handed him a gun and asked, "You know how to use one of these, right?" Dwight replied, "Nah, not really, but I'll figure it out." Ben offered, "There's nobody near my house. I can teach you how to shoot in the backyard." Dwight said, "I've already asked you for too much help, man. I don't want to put you out anymore. I just need the gun." He took the gun and left. On his way out, he grabbed a can of water for Teddy. He opened the trunk and Teddy pops out. That's when Teddy sees Dwight standing there with the gun. Teddy immediately starts chugging the water. Dwight asks, "Why did you guys come to my house? To get me or my sister?" Teddy snaps back, "We came to take you out, you jerk." Then he dropped a bombshell that floored Dwight. Teddy says, "Who do you think your dad was? Some kind of angel? He was screwing my mom. When my dad found out, he went to your house in a rage to kill your father. He never meant to hurt your mom. She was innocent in all of it, but she got killed in the middle of it. Then Dad sent Wade to prison instead because Wade was under 18, so he'd get less time." Dwight was totally messed up hearing this. He said, "I want to finish this whole thing forever. I don't want my family involved again. I admit I killed your brother. I'll even turn myself into the police for it." Teddy sneered, "That's not how our family rolls. We don't follow the law. We follow our own rules. Now your whole family's gonna die. Your sister and her kids too." Dwight fired a shot and Teddy flinched. Dwight gave him the phone and told him, "Call your family and tell them I'm coming to end this. No one else needs to do anything." Teddy made the call. A few minutes later, Dwight stepped forward to grab the phone. That's when Teddy saw his chance and jumped Dwight, snatching the gun. He said, "Our family has its own code. My old man killed 2 people and never did a day in jail. He died of cancer eventually, and now you're about to bite it." He was about to shoot Dwight when a gunshot rings out nearby, and Teddy gets clipped right in the head. Ben had fired the shot. He was worried about his friend. He helped Dwight up and said, "I figured you'd get into some kind of trouble. That's why I was stalking you." He gave Dwight the gun and said, "You've got a gun, but you don't know how to shoot it. If you can't hit the target, it's worthless." Then Ben trained him, and Dwight started getting decent with the gun. After the training, Ben gave him a gun, some cash, and a little food. He also said, "Your trouble is my trouble. We'll go together." But Dwight shut him down. He said, "You already saved my life, man. I got all the help I need. Our paths are different now, and you gotta burn those photos you got of me too." With that, Dwight left, but Ben kept following him anyway. A little later, his car suddenly broke down. When Ben popped the hood, he saw that Dwight had messed up his car battery on purpose. Dwight knew Ben wouldn't stop chasing him, and he refused to put his friend in danger. Meanwhile, Dwight was driving way ahead and grabbing a bite to eat. After that, Dwight got up his nerve and broke right into the Cleland family's house. Gun in hand, he started looking for people. No one was home. He collected every weapon he could find and dumped them in the river so they'd be unarmed. Then he went to Wade's father's grave. Dwight knew he couldn't do anything to a dead guy, but he peed on the grave anyway because this whole mess was his fault. He then pulled out Teddy's corpse, dragged it to the hole he dug behind the house, and buried it. After he covered the body up good, he sat inside the house and waited for them to show up. He set traps all over the place, but no one came. When the lights suddenly flipped on that evening, he jumped. He grabbed his gun to see who came in. Then he realized the lights were automatic. They turn on at 8 p.m. He couldn't take the waiting anymore. He called his home number and left a message that he wanted to end everything. He didn't have a grudge against their whole family, just the guy who killed his parents. But if they went after his sister, he'd kill every single one of them. A few hours later, the Cleland family arrived. 3 people came in, Carl and his 2 sisters. From their conversation, Dwight figured out that they knew everything about Sam, that she was in Pittsburgh and they were going to kill her soon, along with her 2 kids. Dwight lost it and shot Carl straight away. Now only his 2 sisters were left. Dwight said, "I didn't plan on wiping out your whole family. My problem was just with your dad. But going after my sister was a huge screw-up." Just then, William shows up and shoots Dwight. Dwight was hit but still breathing. The 2 women screamed and told William, "Finish him off now!" But William couldn't pull the trigger. That's when the truth came out. William was actually Dwight's half-brother. Dwight's father had an affair with William's mother, and William was conceived then. Dwight snatched the gun from him. He could have killed William, but he let him live. The 2 women were watching it all happen. Then one of them pulled a machine gun from under the sofa and started blasting away. A little while later, 3 bodies lay there. Carl and his 2 sisters were dead. Only William survived. Sometime later, a guy brings a newspaper to Sam's house in Pittsburgh. The headline said they were all dead. This meant Sam was safe now. Dwight got his revenge and protected his sister for good. If you dug the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.